these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order, can emerge.
I know you've been doing this for a while, probably a little bit longer than us. I think we're only about 6 months old, Ryan and I, in our own podcast, Baseball Show.
Still babies in the diapers.
Still babies in the diapers. And look, we're not babies. I mean, we've done this before, but our show as itself is only 6 months. We were able to accomplish, I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but we accomplished over 2,500 follicles, which, makes our hair grow back, but they're followers, which is important for social media. So those guys there, are huge. How do you build your brand? How do you continue to do this? I mean, I know you got the back wall there with the brick, and you look like someone who's ready to fight. You look like almost like it's like I wouldn't challenge you in the parking lot because you look like you just got off a UFC fight or you just worked out. I don't want to even know. But Jay, explain to us a little bit about how you make it all come together, how you're so successful in almost every platform.
So you're definitely putting me on a pedestal because it's like I have been so insanely inconsistent and lazy with this project over the past few years that I really, I'm bummed at myself. It's kind of a little bit of a regret, but I'm back on track now, trying to restart this, talking about something different. So just to give you a little backstory, I really started to get into trying to create a personal brand and trying to leverage social media in 2009. I saw this show on YouTube called The Wrestling Roundtable. And I watched the show a couple times. There's just a few dudes sitting around a table talking about wrestling. I thought it was cool. I go to a wrestling show in Philadelphia called Ring of Honor Wrestling. And there's a guy there who's working the merchandise table. And he's the dude who hosts the Wrestling Roundtable. So I went up to him. I said, "Hey, dude, I love your show. It's great. I see it on YouTube." And he was like, "Oh, nice to meet you, man. Where are you from?" And I told him, Beechwood, New Jersey. And he goes, "Oh, we're in Jackson, dude. We film in Jackson." So he invited me on the show. So that's how I really started my venture into talking about the wrestling business in a public platform rather than just talking to my friends about it, and then just being a diehard mega fan that went to the shows. So it started there. I kind of broke away from them after like a 2-year run, did a lot of awesome stuff in the business. I was able to interview WWE Hall of Famers. My first ever interview was with Terry Funk, who is a WWE Hall of Famer and hardcore legend, been around forever. I think he's in his 80s probably. So I had a lot of opportunities through the Wrestling Roundtable and getting backstage at wrestling events, getting in front of crowds of over 10,000, not 10,000 people. There wasn't 10,000 people there. Over I would say there's probably 5,000 people in the Hammerstein Ballroom. I can't remember how many people are in that venue, but I was out there in front of all those fans. They were going crazy. I got my head kicked in. It was a lot of fun, man. And I decided to go out on my own. So I started Pro Wrestling Powerhouse in 2012. That kind of spiraled into being a full-time podcast. I was doing them every single week. I've interviewed wrestling legends like Diamond Dallas Page, Lex Luger, Jake the Snake Roberts, just to name a few.
Love Jake the Snake.
Yeah, man. I've talked to all these guys. I've had great conversations with a lot of them. And then, I started to get lazy, as some of us do. I started to get a real job. I sold cars for a while. That's a 60, 70 hours a week kind of job. So I started to tailor it back, but I had a website. I still have it. It's called PWPNation.com. It's really the base of this YouTube channel. And there's a lot of other content on the YouTube channel you can watch over the past 10 years. And that site was really a creative project that I made to kind of be a competitor in reporting the news, having news stories, articles, submissions from fans, turning fans into writers and reporters, and trying to create friends for life in a community. And I did that. We amassed over 20,000 followers on Twitter in a short period of time. We had millions upon millions of views. We've been acknowledged by Hulk Hogan, Paul Heyman, a lot of wrestling legends, Seth Rollins, a bunch of major stars in the business. And then I started doing my own thing, live streaming, and here I am again. Took some time off. I've been back and forth, really lazy with it. I've been banned on Twitter numerous times. I've pissed off the internet wrestling community a ton of times because a lot of my takes are from the old school or from the 2003 era. And I'm dealing with these 19, 20-year-old kids who just don't share the same brain capacity that I do in that business. So it's a constant fight. I get attacked. I get doxxed. I've had people throw my personal information, including phone number and address, onto Twitter. I've had them send $100 worth of Papa John's to my house at 11 o'clock at night, dude. I've had all this crazy stuff happen.
You say it like it's a problem.
It was a problem because I didn't feel like spending $100 on Papa John's, dude. Nobody paid for it. They wanted me to pay for it, and I was like, "Sorry, guys, you got to go. This is a prank." But I've been through a lot with the wrestling community, and now what I'm doing is I'm branching away from that for once. I gripped onto it so hard for so many years, and now I've been kind of pushed out of it a little bit by some of the influencers in that niche, some of the social justice warriors in that niche. I've been pushed to the side, and now I'm opening the floodgates to talk about all kinds of stuff. That's why I love shooting the shit with you guys about baseball and about anything else. And I hope to do this more in the future, but that's really where I'm at. I'm just kind of taking it easy, talking to anybody about anything, and just going live and just talking about whatever, man, whatever floats my boat, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, I know just from my experience with what we're doing, that social media aspect of it, it almost feels like a full-time job at sometimes. So I can understand the, kicking it back because, you're constantly in this day and age now, you have to constantly churn out content. You get put in the back burn so quickly with the news cycle. It's, if you don't have something out immediately when it happens, you're yesterday's news and you're forgotten about immediately. So it's can be exhausting at times. It feels like a full-time job just to constantly try to come up with content, whether it be videos, whether it be posts, whether it be tweets, whatever it is. So, I mean, it's a grind. It absolutely is a grind. So the fact that you've been doing it so long is amazing. And, you've obviously had a lot of success with it. So that's fantastic, but it's okay to take a step back every once in a while because, you can get burned out on that really, really quick.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right, dude. It's exactly right. You can get burnt out, and it's important to take care of yourself and have self-care. I like to wind down by working out, playing video games, smoking weed, doing stuff like that. I don't like to really take myself too seriously anymore. That was a problem I used to have. I used to take myself so damn seriously all the time, and that's not something I like to do anymore. I like to take it easy. I'm open to all forms of discourse as long as it's respectful and fun. I don't want to argue or hate on anyone, and that's the kind of atmosphere that drives everybody away from doing what they like to do.
Oh yeah. Look, I mean, one thing that kind of struck me too when you were talking was like the way that you were able to say these celebrity names. I think that's huge. Some call it name dropping, but look, let's face it, the way that you name drop was good because it was subtle, right? So I think that when you're boasting about yourself, and it's kind of hard to do that personally for me because for me, I don't know how to do that, man, without sounding like an asshole. I mean, so the way that you just say, okay, so this is what we've done, and you have facts, and you say, okay, so we had this guy on our podcast, we had this guy on our podcast, and you name drop, you use those celebrities to put yourself up there on that pedestal, as you said, but that's brilliant because we have a lot of guys that we had Doc Gooden that we've talked to. We've had Lenny Dykstra,
so many umpires
who we mentioned, and then we've had John Franco, and John Franco wasn't one of the worst interviews we ever did, but he was but people know who he is. So Cliff Lloyd, can't forget Cliff Lloyd. You know who Cliff Lloyd is, Jay?
Yeah, dude, I remember he used to be on the Florida Marlins, I think, when we were kids.
Yep.
The teams. I'm glad that you said that. That's refreshing because I think that too many, especially kids, I know you're not a kid. I'm not a kid either. But there's a lot of people out there that don't know Cliff Lloyd like a household name because his problem was that he got hurt a lot, but he played through injuries and he still did his thing, and he was a great Met. But that guy was suffering when he was playing. He was out there in left field. I used to watch him on hot days, being just suffering, but got through it and would steal bases and shit. It's crazy.
See, if he would have taken steroids or amphetamine or cocaine, maybe he would have been last longer.
Yeah,
correct.
He'd still be playing now if he did all that kind of stuff.
The only thing I know about Cliff Lloyd is that he drank some apple juice on our show, which was great. He's like, "Can I have some apple juice?" I was like, "Absolutely." I read between the lines, of course, but if he would have done, let's just call it cocaine, or if he would have done steroids or anything like that, who knows? I mean, he could have played into his 40s. That guy's really freaking good. And we had him on our show. And now the reason why he's even a celebrity in my eyes, universally, is that you don't have to be a Mets fan to know who he is. Jay, are you a Mets fan?
No, I'm not, dude. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I told you I was a Braves fan, and I rode that Braves
All right,
train up until about 2000, 2001. And then I kind of just fell out of caring about a team. At that point, the Yankees were so dominant, and I always hated the Yankees with a passion.
Right.
Bro. I
Good.
still do.
Good.
So I don't really I haven't lashed onto a team, but of course I still love and respect the sport. And whenever the playoffs come around, that's when I start watching. And then I pick a team that I feel like I want to win at that point.
So I mean, I rest my case. I mean, here's a guy who, said that he's not a Mets fan, but he knows who Cliff Floyd is. So Cliff Floyd is a big name. And now he's actually, if you fast forward to 2021, he's still presently working for MLB Network. So you see his face all the time. And when you have guys like Cliff Floyd on your show, obviously you can boost that. Now it's up to you as the person who is like doing the promotion here to get that to take off, because you have the guy, right? You already did the interview, and Ryan and I's interview with him was great. It wasn't flawless. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be flawless. It's supposed to be a conversation. This guy opened up to us like he was like a 9-year-old girl. I mean, he really, like, he just
It sounds terrible.
No. I mean, like, he opened his diary up. He just basically like let it all out on us, and he was like talking, and probably the apple juice helped him. But when you have guys like that on there, it's huge. And I always encourage anyone who's doing a podcast or anything of this nature. I mean, Baseball Show, let's be clear, it's not really a podcast by definition. We don't even have a just audio only account. I mean, we literally are videos. So we're a video cast. But anyone who's doing something like that, use it like I'm doing now. I'm name dropping now, right? So I'm telling you right now, Cliff Floyd, Lenny Dykstra, and you hear that, your ears go, okay, these guys are legit. So it gives you a legitimacy. Second thing is quality. Quality is huge. Jay, let me pick your brain again, man. The way that you do these videos and you edit, you edit where it makes sense. I've seen times where people edit and it doesn't make any sense, but I've seen, the way that you do it and it shortens it up. Talk about editing and in length and why that's important. Length of the video and the right type of videos to put out.
Sure, absolutely. So in a perfect world, I feel like editing should be minimal. Now, a lot of people edit every single pause, every single word. You see these videos where there's no pause in what they're saying. They literally cut out like every other second. Like anytime they say the word like
Yes.
or anything, they will cut that out. I'm not into that kind of stuff,
No,
man.
that's
It's
too
not
much.
genuine to me. It's too much. It's too much work. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I do believe in cutting out certain parts of the conversation and creating a transition, like a seamless transition. I think that's cool if you want to do something like that. If you want to have like a nice little intro to your video, I think that's important. I do love the sweet spot of 20 to 30 minutes for long form content, but I also think it's super important to take interviews like your one with Cliff Floyd and clip those into short form content. And that's something that I fail to do sometimes just because I'm lazy, and it's something that I'm going to do more of. You focus in on that one specific topic that he may have talked about that you think in your marketing mind other people would want to hear, that specific topic only, and then you redirect them to the full interview. So you take that, you do micro content. So you take like a 4 or 5 minute clip and you put it on your YouTube page, you put it on Facebook, you put it on Twitter, you put it on all these short form ADD social media accounts, and people listen to that. You get the listen time up, and then the hope is that they go to the rest of the podcast and listen to the rest of the interview. So that to me is a top strategy. When it comes to editing, dude, I really for years strictly went live and just did it live. I did my podcast radio show live. I did my video show for a while completely live. I've done a few where I edited, got a little fancy, threw some words in there and maybe some videos in there, whatever. But I like to keep it to a minimum if possible, because you don't want to waste all your time editing.
Yeah. Yo, you hit it right on the head, man. Too much editing kind of feels like you're on some of those amphetamines that we were talking about before, because I've seen, and I don't want to call anyone out, but I've seen someone on YouTube recently who I don't know, but he just, he has a lot of followers and he's very successful. But when he talks, everything is so hyped up. I feel like this dude is on so much crack that it would kill an elephant. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this dude is so freaking like, and there's no time. But that natural pause is a good thing, because the more that you have a real conversation, the more it seems listenable. at least to me, or watchable. Like I said, audio is one of my, I love audio. That's my thing. But right now, Baseball Show is not really an audio only podcast. I mean, it's not a podcast at all, really. It's more of a show. So we put together production. We put together things that, countdown videos, which we just did, where it was the top 10 worst PR disasters from the Mets. The Mets have a lot of them, so we had to cut it down to 10. But
Plenty to choose from.
there's probably about 50 if you include the one that just happened about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, with Jared Porter when he was sending his dick pics. But never do that, by the way.
No,
Guys, if this is like, if you're watching this as an educational podcast, let me give you a free tip. Never ever send the tip of your penis to anyone. It's not a good idea. It's actually a really bad idea because it can only hurt you in the end. I mean, it can only hurt you, and it hurt Jared Porter. But again, I digress. Ryan,
that's what you're best at.
Yeah.
No, but like you were saying with the top 10 videos, for example, that's a perfect example of a video that's more edited. There's some more work that's involved. It's a conversation like this. That's always when it's best to have minimal editing, like you said, because you want it to feel like a natural conversation. Like you see those YouTube videos where you just have some guy standing up there giving you like this whole big speech for 10 minutes or whatever. You want to cut like, some of the extra ums and ahs out of that. That makes more sense. Something like this, where it's just a bunch of guys just sitting around shooting the shit. You want it to feel natural. And when you edit it out too much, when you edit out every other little space, there's no naturalness to it. There's no good flow to it.
Right. So like, look, for example, this right here, this will probably be available as a full video. So like you could probably watch this whole video if you choose. I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but when you edit things and you chop things up, here's where editing would be good, because like, let's say that we said something that was really like on the hot topic, like Hall of Fame, for example, and we talk about Hall of Fame, or we talk about something that was really intriguing, and I'm sure we'll find it. You get, maybe 20 seconds of that, if that. That 20 seconds, that 30 seconds is actually more valuable, in my opinion, than let's say 6 minutes. Here's why. More people around the world are going to automatically gravitate to it because it's a quick fix. Nowadays, you mentioned ADD. ADD is like crazy right now. Everyone has ADD.
It's out of control.
I probably have it.
Control, bro.
I never been diagnosed, but I probably have it. Everyone has it. But so to say that, like, a 15-second video, that's probably the best way to go if you just want to get that quick view, because people don't really watch over a minute anyway, as we discovered. But YouTube's a different thing. YouTube, maybe you have length.
That's exactly what it is, because that's at least what I've discovered from what we've been doing. You have your Instagram, you have your YouTube, you have TikTok, you have places like that where you need that quick hit. You need like a 1 minute or less video, because anything older than that, that's, people aren't looking for that. People are scrolling. They just want to see what's next. Right. YouTube, that's exactly where the long form videos, because that's where someone's going there to watch a video. So that's where you'll have someone who, you put a video on Instagram or Facebook and you get them to watch like 15 seconds of it. You put that same video on YouTube, all of a sudden people are watching 5-6 minutes of it, and that's a big difference.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. And that's one thing that we have to keep in the perspective here. Like, it would be advantageous for me to take this video and cut out a clip of one of you guys talking about the Hall of Fame, which was the main topic, and having the video start with that, and then rolling into maybe an intro, just me, myself saying what's going to happen in this video, and then rolling into the full video. I think that's what I did. I recently interviewed this guy, Hotep Jesus, who's a political commentator. He's been viral a couple times for what he's done at Starbucks. He did like this whole reparations things at Starbucks a few years ago, which got him on the Joe Rogan show. It got him on Tucker Carlson on Fox News. And this guy is a very unique cat with a lot of unique things to say. So when I did my interview with him, I made sure to do a little intro to kind of hype it up and just tell whoever's watching it what we're about to talk about and what's about to come up. So I think that's also an important aspect of editing a video together, giving a brief preview of what they're about to listen to, because it's all about watch time. You got to remember that. Like on YouTube, it's about watch time. It's about subscribers. View count doesn't really matter. You could have 1 million viewers and everybody watches for 12 seconds. That's not going to go as far as having 100,000 viewers who watch for 50 minutes.
Yeah, because
it's different.
Because the whole secret, it's not really a secret, but the whole thing about, getting viewers there, like you said, it doesn't matter if you don't have the minute viewers. What we found out is that if you have a minute view, It's a lot more valuable than, let's say, like a 10-second view. Now, why would you need a minute view? Because if you're trying to make money off this thing, and I don't know anyone who's breathing who wouldn't want to make money off doing what they love, but if you're trying to make money off of it, you gotta have, and everyone's different. Every social platform's different, but you gotta have the advertisers. So the advertisers, they don't care about you, man. If you have a bunch of 10-second views, what are they going to advertise in 10 seconds? It's not even like, you can't even put an advertisement out in 10 seconds. So if you have people for a minute, I could see why someone would come along and be like, okay, we want to sponsor you. And then once you get that sponsor, of course, what you want to do is you don't fuck it up. But you do it right. So, and you have to find your niche, right? So your niche, Jay, is, I would say, just by seeing what you have and doing the research, I see that you're a wrestling guy, and that's your niche. So you're really good at that. You're also really good about current news, things like that. So you're awesome at that. So doing what you do best and then not deviating from that is a huge thing. And I probably gave you guys out there, whoever's watching, a free tip.
Yeah, 100% you did. And I think we all did in this little conversation about it, because there's so much to learn about doing this and trying to do it at a high level, and trying to do it at a level where we could actually put some of that YouTube money in our pockets. I think that's ultimately what needs to happen. And it's going to take time. We just have to hope we don't get struck down by the ban hammer, which seems to be wiping out people left and right. Mm-hmm. That's why it's important to look at other platforms right now. So there are some other platforms out there that I've been looking at that I'm going to be uploading much of my content to, including BitChute is one of them. DLive is another one that I want to start broadcasting live on. Another one's called Rumble. I want to get on that channel as well. So there's a few different channels that are starting to pop up. And I think it's important with the purge that's going to be happening to accounts all over the internet. I think it's important to really diversify where your content goes to. And you can find all of my stuff in my link tree, which is in my Twitter bio. There's tons of stuff there. There's many other platforms as well, bro. There's minds.com, there's steam.com, where you could actually make cryptocurrency by posting and publishing content and people viewing it. You could actually get paid in crypto, and that happens right away. So there's a lot of opportunity out there over the next 10 years, the next decade. We're going to see a major shift in these kind of platforms for sure. 100%.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, the censorship is real. One of the things I said to you, Jay, is that we weren't going to get political. So I won't, I promise. But look, if you have certain sites that only allow their beliefs, and we know which ones those are, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those, right? If you have alternate things that you can go to, why not? Because at any moment you could be shut down, at any moment, and you don't even see it coming, because that can cripple you. So the more strength you have, the more depth you have. If we're gonna use like a sports term, the more depth you have on your team. Like if you have a Twitter, you have a Twitch, you have the new one, Ryan. What's the new one? TikTok. Yeah,
TikTok.
You have that for short videos. You're going to be successful. So, that's the key, man. That's the key. It's just diversifying, like you said, diversifying your stock, as they would say.
Not only that,
getting your name out there on multiple platforms. Sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's because it's about diversifying, but it's also about finding what's hot right now. Because like you said, in this ADD world, everyone's jumping like, what's the new hot thing? What's the new hot platform? And that's why we just got on TikTok recently, because like that thing's taken off like fire. And honestly, I'm having a lot of fun on it because it allows you to do a lot more video editing very simply than say an Instagram or like a Facebook. Yeah. You can really kind of get creative with it, just with the content you already have. You don't need no new tools. You don't need a whole new software or anything like that. So, I mean, it's about not only just finding new places just to diversify, it's about finding what people are gravitating to, because it's changing so fast now.
Right. Like, for example, like if you do a bunch of funny videos, you probably want to TikTok because people don't have the patience to watch the clock TikTok, and they want to see it right away. An ADD world right away. So funny comedy kind of stuff, yeah, man. Shorter the better, I feel like. And that's kind of what we are too. We're a comedy podcast, video cast, whatever you want to call it. But we bring a comedic form to sports because we're not serious. We know our shit? Yeah, we know our shit. Me and Ryan can go on probably on a contest show and kill it when it comes to baseball knowledge. But we're not trying to be the smartest guys in the room. We're just trying to be entertaining. And that's the thing. You got to be entertaining. You got to grab people right away. If somebody honestly sees this whole entire thing that we're doing right now, they're probably not going to watch the whole thing. But if we go and we take like, a good solid clip, and it's, if you ask me, it's all good. But if you take like a good solid clip of us and you put that out there, you're going to get a lot more viewers. But again, 1 minute views. So it's just about finding the way to do a 1 minute view, I think is key. Keep them for 1 minute. So whatever you got to do in that first minute, do that and do your best right there. If you have to just tail off and leave a song at the end or a blank screen or an outro, do it. Because to get to 3 minutes, Facebook, for example, you have to do 3 minutes for them to promote you, right? That's what they say. Or you make money. So then do like, John Boy is someone who does that. 2.5 minute video, he does 30 seconds of crap. But it doesn't matter at that point because as long as they watch 2:30, that's all they care about. Anyway, so I mean, that's all I got on that topic. I mean, and then a lot of this other stuff is a good podcast for another day. And Jay, man, thanks for having us on. This is
Yes.
big for us because not only do I get to see a old new friend, but I get to see someone who knows what they're doing and has their stuff together.
Yeah, I kind of do. I'm not going to say 100% have my shit together. I kind of do, man. Like I have an eBay store as well. That's another one of my side hustles. Of course, I'm into the cryptocurrency game. I love what's going on in that sector. I love the stock market. So, and of course, sports cards. I have all these investments and all these different things I do. So I'm trying to do this and I hope we can do this again. I mean, we should periodically jump on these calls all year long, all the rest of our lives, maybe. Who knows how this is going to take off. But my ultimate goal with this channel, and I appreciate you guys doing this, I really do. My ultimate goal is to shoot the shit with my friends, man. Is to reconnect with old friends, make new friends, jump on a call with some people who I've only met on Twitter and on social media throughout the years, because I've met thousands upon thousands of people, dude. It's really absurd. I went to Madison Square Garden about 2 years ago to see a wrestling show. It was a Ring of Honor New Japan Pro Wrestling, and people were like, "Oh, Jay Leto, oh, yo, what's up, Jay?" And I'm like, "What? Like, who are these?" Like, people knew who I was. I didn't know who many of them. I did meet a couple of people who I knew, but I didn't know who many of them were. It was really weird. I just get up and walk around. Hey, what's up? So that's just the power of social media. I'd like to get on this platform and talk to more of my friends on social media who I've never really talked to in real life. And I'm so happy to reconnect with you guys, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for doing this.
No problem. Anytime. And, I hear what you're saying 100%. It's like a tree with branches, right? So you start branching out and then you see all these other avenues. I mean, hell, that's how I met my girlfriend, my Rock of Gibraltar. As I say, I met her because someone recognized us from a podcast. It was her father, and it's crazy, and that's a story for another day. But I mean, so you never know who you're going to meet, what other avenues you're going to do. So it's always good to expand. So thanks again, Jay, for having us. And we'll do this again. Maybe baseball will take over, and we'll be the host of this one. Yeah. But you got this one, man. Make us look good.
100%. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Ryan, thank you, bro. Really good to see you, man.
Yeah, of course, man. It's been a blast. Like you said, this is what it's all about. Just having fun, just shooting the shit, getting to know new people, getting to talk to old friends, just anything you can just to have fun, because there's not a lot to do to have fun these days. So we got to do anything we can. If it takes a Zoom call, it takes a Zoom call. It feels like that's the only way you can ever connect with anybody in 2021.
That's right, man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, you guys, make sure you check out the Baseball Show on all social media platforms. I'm talking Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere. And you're going to see it on my channel as well, because I'm going to promote the living hell out of this show. So once again, guys, thank you so much.
We love you for that.
We love you for that, man. Just click the link. And same goes for Jay, too. Follow his stuff, too, because he knows what he's talking about as well. But good night, guys. And for Steve and Ryan, baseball out.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.